Hello, 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 and welcome back to the hottest podcast around. We're talking PandaWatch. As always, I'm Steven Zebrak with.
Gosh damn it. It's your boy Kev Ma. Hello, people. We miss y'all, Panda people. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. We took a break last week. I got sick of Kev. Kev was up here for Memorial Day weekend in New
Kev
York
was
City.
on, not the bus, I was on the train for New York City.
Yeah, Kev knows only one way to go.
Yeah. Fast. Gosh damn it, Ricky Bobby. What's up, man? I mean, there's like a whole bunch of death happening around here, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Whole bunch of crazy shit. Obviously, just the other night, the possibly the greatest athlete of all time, the most famous athlete of all time,
Without a doubt.
and the greatest boxer of all time, Muhammad Ali, passed away at the age of 74. I mean, the guy was a legend, and I never once saw a fight of his, live or anything like that. But I mean, that's how big his impact was he reached across generations.
Yeah, I mean, obviously in that time and age where like TV was just coming into format, radio was the way that we got a lot of our information. And he had the ability with his fights to, mesmerize the whole nation when you're listening to his fights. And it was even crazier that, half of the country did not like him because of his skin color.
Right. It's funny because they didn't like him because of his skin color. And then as soon as he refused to go to Vietnam and didn't comply with the draft, that's the excuse they used,
Yeah.
like that was their like, oh, okay. Now I got something. And it's like, then they ran with it.
Yeah.
Instead of like,
it was weird, right? The guy who was living in America as an African-American was like, look, I'm not going to fight your war. A, because you don't like me. B, because they didn't do anything to me. And so now you guys use this free reign to just say, well, that's why we don't like you, because you're anti-American. You're a draft dodger. Where he didn't dodge the draft. He was just like, I'm not going to war. So
right.
If you want to put me in jail, do it. I'm just not going.
Yeah, he didn't run and hide. He just said, I'm not going. And I mean, whether or not you think that's right or not, that's completely different than him draft dodging.
Correct. And again, I would just like to say thank you to him as an African-American male for providing such a sturdy figure of how you should live as a male in general. But in that time, as an African-American male, being shitted on by, a majority of a race, not all of them, but the majority of them. And in the adversity, still call yourself pretty, have that boyish charm where you could you were a wizard with the words. And then on top of that, be a bad, bad man in that ring. Like Muhammad Ali was a machine. 61. He had 61 fights. He was 56-5, and he had 37 of them came by knockout.
Right. I mean, he was amazing.
I mean, the guy was an activist. He was a lot of things. He wasn't just the boxer, where it's kind of like, I know we like to compare sports figures across different generations, which is always unfair, but we tend to not care, so we do it anyways. Everybody's like, well, today's generation of athletes don't have the same kind of social impact that Muhammad Ali had, or any of those, Jackie Robinson, Jack Johnson, Joe Louis were having. And partly is because those guys did all the heavy leg work, right? We didn't at this day and age, we still fight racism, but we didn't have to fight overt racism like they had to. So
right.
The battle was kind of not won, but it was kind of like, all right, there's a little bit left to do, but not what all those guys, those pioneers before us, had to endure. So it's kind of like you're not going to be able to get that kind of scale because we're not fighting. We're still fighting, but we're not fighting that uphill of a battle.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right.
No, thank you. I appreciate that.
No, so I was just waiting for you to. I didn't want to cut you off in that because you were going down a good path.
Another thing that, yeah, I know, appreciate it. I'm only always on the good path, by the way.
Yeah.
Another thing that kind of ruffled a lot of white people's feathers and some black people was kind of like him and Malcolm X. I mean, when he converted to the Nation of Islam, he was kind of like the flag bearer for the nation and for African American people all over the place. And Malcolm X was on record of saying that the fight that he had against Sonny Liston was going to do more for the African American male than anything else because it was going to put a black Muslim in the face of, or on top, is going to show the world that a black man could do so much more than just be pushed around or looked at as inferior and stuff like that. And for him to be that closely associated with the most hated black man in America at that time said a lot to him because he didn't care what other people said. Now, obviously, history shows us that there was a wedge driven between Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X due to some jealousy or potential jealousy from the Prophet Elijah Muhammad. But
right.
I just thought it was pretty awesome and powerful for him to be connected with Malcolm X, who was really a champion of justice for all humanity, but obviously for African Americans.
Right. One of the first prominent figures in the Nation of Islam too. I mean, we know a lot of other athletes that Lou Alcindor became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and a few others along the way. But he was probably the most famous and the first one to do it, and it just kind of like woke America up to that movement.
Yep. Stay woke, America.
Yeah, whether you agree with it or not, it woke America up to it. And one person who refused to call him Muhammad Ali got taught a little bit of a lesson in the ring. When Muhammad Ali fought Floyd Patterson, and Floyd Patterson before him was like, you know what, I'm not, I'm calling him Cassius Clay. That's his name. That's what I'm calling him. And the story goes that in the ring the entire time while he was just beating him down and just kind of keeping him around, not knocking him out,
just jabbing the hell out of him.
Yeah, just kept going, what's my name? What's my name?
Dude, I mean, he's got so many iconic moments and fights. You get, obviously the first one was Ali versus Sonny Liston.
Right.
After that fight, that was when he went from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali. The Rumble in the Jungle in '74 against, George Foreman. We all know him as the big, lovable grill master, but George was a beast when he was back then. He was like the heavyweight, but, no match for Muhammad Ali. And then obviously we know about the 3 epic matches that him and R.I.P. Mr. Joe Frazier had.
Yeah.
And the Thriller in Manila.
Thriller in Manila?
Yeah, Thriller in Manila.
Yeah, I mean,
I think.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Sorry.
You cut me off, man. It's okay. I just wanted to say, I mean, I know all the listeners out there are probably like, they have their own stories about Muhammad Ali, but I would just like to, express sadness for the passing of this guy. And we didn't even talk about how he kept fighting through Parkinson's when he got diagnosed later.
Right. I mean, a huge, like, one of the eye-opening things, like, oh shit, like, this is what boxing can do to you. I mean, he fought through it a lot of people, like, their favorite moment was when he lit the torch in Atlanta in 1996. So, I mean, that's another iconic moment. I mean, I don't think, as famous as, Jordan is, as famous as LeBron may be, and as famous as guys like Messi or Ronaldo will be, I just don't know if we'll ever see another athlete who much attention for his actions out of his sport than in his sport.
Yeah, I mean, here's a guy who saw adversity in the form of racism and every other thing, and instead of shying away or falling in line, he was kind of like, I'm going to do it my way. It's not going to infringe on anybody else. If you don't like it, deal with it. You can't beat me, and I'm not doing anything but just making my voice heard, which is something that a lot of people in a position of power, whether it's sports or not sports, are afraid to do because the repercussions could be like, we'll take that away from you. And nobody wants whatever they have going for them taken away. Muhammad Ali didn't care. He was kind of like, no, this is the opportunity for me to use my voice and spread this awareness so we can, get some progress.
Right. He sacrificed 3 years of his prime boxing career.
Michael Jordan is not coming out to say all sweatshops in China and wherever else they are deplorable because he was making hand over fist with his partnership with Nike.
Right.
But hey, to each their own, man. R.I.P. to the greatest.
Yep. We'll certainly miss him. He was, whether you love him or hate him, he had one of the biggest impacts ever on society. So, a voice that will be missed, a legend, Muhammad Ali. I was trying to go for my.
That was very dramatic. That was like Bill Lampley or Jim.
I was trying to go for like Jeremy or Dick Shep.
That was more Jim Lampley right there.
Okay. Well, anyways, moving on. We got we've in the last 2 weeks there's been a lot of basketball action, and I know it seems like old news, but the Thunder dropping a 3-1 lead over the Warriors. I mean, that's huge. I mean, the Warriors just showed that, like, hey, we don't give a fuck. Our title again.
I mean, I'm one of those people who wrote them off, and they were like, kiss my ass, you dark-skinned motherfucker. We're going to win. I don't remember much from Game 6 because I was in New York City hanging out with you, and it got pretty messy. But that Game 6, the Thunder were up 20 points in like halfway through the third quarter. And they've done –
yeah, they were killing them.
Yeah, and that's the second time this year in a game that was of significance or importance, this one obviously being more important since it's a playoff game, that OKC has blown a lead. It's kind of like, all right, man, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, that's my fault. Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, you guys have lost leads. I mean, that iconic or that memorable moment where Steph Curry hits a half-court shot to win the game was all because you guys blew a 15-point lead in that one.
Oh, yeah, right. I mean, at some time you have to look at yourself and said, we have 2 of the 5 best players in the NBA. How can we not hold on to a lead we need at home against, I understand how good Golden State is and how quickly they can turn a lead on you. But at the same time, you're Kevin Durant and you're Russell Westbrook. I mean, you guys are all NBA. What's going on?
No idea, Steven. I mean, like you said, give the Warriors credit. They don't panic. They have a system that's already set up for them, and they're consistent. Teams can get out ahead of them. They're okay. They don't panic. They just keep doing what they're doing. They plug along, and they wait for the team that they're competing against to come back to them. I mean, now we're in the NBA Finals, and Cleveland has been well rested. And
They've
They
been well
couldn't.
beaten down too.
They've been getting their ass kicked. Oh my gosh! I mean, the first game, the Cleveland Cavaliers played amazing defense on Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. Yet they got beat by 15 points.
Yeah, Sean, the player formerly known as Sean Livingston, just went off that game. 20 points on 10 shots. That's pretty good.
That's amazing. I mean,
yeah.
the man got one leg. The man's leg almost had to be amputated.
Yeah.
And
that's insane.
A comeback story like this is impressive. He is very good. Cleveland, I made like a chart that we could talk about that I think is really awesome. It's just like, what are the good things that Cleveland did? What are the bad things or good and bad things from each team? And this is what I got for Golden State for good. I've got their bench was amazing, Draymond Green, and Bogut's defense. The bad for Golden State has been the Splash Brothers, and yet they are still up 2-0.
Yeah, that's the scary part is they've been pretty quiet the first 2 games at home, and yet they've beaten down the Cavaliers both games.
And so
they didn't win squeakers.
No. That second game was atrocious. I mean, it looked like they all got drunk with E40 or something.
But what I'm saying is, does this I mean, I know it's only 2 games. I know Cleveland has only played the games on the road. They have a chance at home to get back at them. But Cleveland was tied. It was 1-1 at this point last year. Does this put to bed the whole argument of, well, if LeBron had Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving last year, they might have won?
I don't know, because it seems like last year when he knew they weren't going to be there, he went bonkers. So
he had 0 points in the first quarter on Sunday night.
Yeah, but in his defense, he was doing everything else, right? He was playing the best defense that I've seen him play. Everybody loves to say LeBron James is a phenomenal defender. I strongly, could question that. But on Sunday, he played really good help side defense. He was playing on the ball defense, which is what I'm always worried about. He played that really well. And then he had 6 or 7 rebounds, 4 or 5 assists, and a couple blocks. So LeBron James in his facilitator mode, cool. We'll take that. He was trying to get Kyrie Irving off. Kyrie started off well, and then he just went into the dumpster. Kevin Love, he left the game in the third quarter or the second quarter from a flying elbow from dirty-ass Harrison Barnes.
Okay.
Look, we all know what university he went to, and they ain't the most upstanding human beings there are out there. But yeah, Kevin Love hasn't found his rhythm. Iman Shumpert, J.R. Smith, Tristan Thompson is doing his rebounding thing, but those two plus Channing Frye, they haven't been the supporting cast that LeBron needed. With that said, LeBron James, you are the most aware basketball player there is in the NBA today. You can tell when your team needs you and when you should take the foot off the gas pedal. When you start going down 10 and 12 points, it's time for you to kick in the motion, man. We don't need you shooting jump shots. I need you to go run somebody over until they call an offensive foul on you. You still here?
Yeah, I'm still there. I thought you were.
I'm just saying, I think it's interesting that for all the skills and talent that he has, the one thing that everybody keeps pointing to, and you can see it, is his mental psyche. Where does he want to be? Where does he see himself? He's talking about, I want to be a champion. I want to be a billionaire. You're going to have to win championships if you want to make more money. And when you're on the basketball court and you're not doing everything to help your team, I don't know if your actions match up with your words. And that's always confusing and disappointing.
Right. I mean, there's so many things he does well, and sometimes he just gets away from him, and it just frustrates you as a basketball fan to be like, what the hell are you doing? Just go out there and score. You are You are built to literally just run by everyone.
You're a tank.
And, yeah, out muscle everyone.
You're a tank. There was a sequence in the second quarter where I guess he woke up and he was like, "Oh shit, we about to lose this game," and he went to the rim 5 straight times. 3 of them were dunks. 1 of them was a layup. The other one was a foul. And so in my mind, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe he's figured it out. And I just don't understand if there's nobody telling him that he should continue to do that, or does he just choose to like pull up on by himself?
Well, I don't know if Tyronn Lue could really tell him that. He's used to getting stepped over.
Ooh. We went 20 minutes without the Tyronn Lue reference.
But yeah, it kind of confuses you because last year in the finals, he won 2 games by himself pretty much.
Yep.
And this year, you'd think after game 1, he'd be like, all right, this is out and just do my thing. Like, screw getting Kyrie involved. Screw getting like these guys. He doesn't need to get those guys involved. Those guys need to get involved around him. You know what I mean? Like,
that's fine with me.
Yeah. Like, I don't have time. Like, this is the finals. I don't have time for you to be like, here, Kyrie, take a shot. You can do it. Like, just
hey, look, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, nobody. The thing that's not fair to LeBron James is the Cavaliers lose this series. Nobody's going to say anything about Kevin Love. They might say a little bit about Kyrie. It's all on LeBron James.
Right. I mean, what they say, though, about Love and Kyrie is they can't play defense to save their lives.
Well, if you're watching them as a team play defense, nobody plays help side defense and nobody plays defense. So you can pick on Kyrie and Kevin Love, but Kevin Love's guarding, I don't know who he's guarding. Harrison Barnes?
Exactly. I don't think he knows who he's guarding.
That's a mismatch. And then Kyrie Irving is trying to put a hand in front of Steph Curry, who all his shots have been contested by Kyrie Irving, and he's still hitting them because he's really fucking good at shooting.
Right.
Real quick, what I had for like the good and bad for Cleveland is the bad was Kyrie's second game, Kevin Love the whole series, their backside and help side defense, LeBron James thinking he has time to waste instead of being assertive, and the only good that I have for the Cleveland Cavaliers is they all have matching uniforms.
It's not Della Devola slapping Iguodala in the nuts.
No, not that, because that is definitely bad. That's all bad. Don't do that.
Oh, good old Delly. Is there a player more hated than him?
Yes, absolutely. You want me to give you an example?
Yeah, why don't you give me a name?
Oh, okay. Dante Jones. Nobody likes him.
No, people hate Della Dodova more than Dante Jones.
You might be right. But yeah, 2-0, Cleveland, you better wake up. It's going to be a long summer. Y'all going fishing.
Yeah, speaking of long summers, we got a lot more basketball players pulling out of the 2016 Rio Olympics.
Dude, that might have been our best transition ever.
Yeah, every time I have a good transition, you call it out and it ruins the transition.
But I mean, it's such a shocker that it's like, we must bring this awareness. We must bottle what the hell just happened.
Yeah, I mean, I can transition, dude. Trust me.
Yeah, chill.
I've been a professional podcaster for over a year now.
Is that how long we've been recording?
I think so. Yeah.
Holy shit! And we still ain't made it to iTunes yet.
It's such a political. It's all about politics.
Man, they just trying to hold the black and white panda down, man. Panda. Sorry, where were we with our transition?
We're talking about the 2016 Summer Olympics and the fact that a lot of basketball players are dropping. I mean, some due to legit injuries like Anthony Davis. Steph Curry wants to rest his body. But others are just like John Wall and a couple others just like, nope, not going. Like, I'm good. Like, I don't need to go down. I don't need to go down to Brazil and catch a whiff of the poo water or get Zika. Like, I don't need to do that.
Was John Wall going to make this team?
I mean, he would have with like some of the injuries and some of the people dropping.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Plus, hell yeah, John Wall is going to make the team.
look, I love John Wall. Go Cats all damn day. But if there's a more stacked position in the NBA for Team America at guard, I want you to point that out to me.
Nah, yeah, guards.
Exactly.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So it's not John Wall's fault that he's not top 5. It's just that there's really good guards, and we only take what 12.
Yeah, I think it's 12.
You got 2 centers. You bring 4 or 5 bigs and 4 or 5 centers or wings. Yeah. But yeah, can you blame the people for like not wanting to go to Brazil to may or may not catch Zika, which we may or may not know anything about?
Right. I mean, yeah, you certainly can't blame anyone, especially basketball players where like their main money is not made in the Olympics. Their fame is not gathered in the Olympics. Their money, their fame, their bread and butter is all in the mainland and all during the regular season and playoffs. Like none of these guys need the Olympics anymore. It's not like when basketball used to just keep it with the amateurs. Like those guys wanted the Olympics because they wanted to show people what they can do. Like these guys are just like, yeah, we're awesome. We know it.
Or yeah, the Dream Team happened in 1992, and we're kind of like the 8th iteration of it. But
yeah,
hey, the Dream Team took all the luster. Now nobody cares.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like if you're on the team now, you're just like, man, we're not ever going to be the Dream Team. So what's the point?
We don't want to downplay that it's not a huge distinction and honor to play and represent your country, but it's like, yeah, people are not going to be screaming at the tour bus like this is Barcelona.
And also in that respect, like a lot of basketball players, they'll have another chance. Some of the other athletes in these other sports, like you only get one shot. So they need.
I was gonna make an 8 Mile reference.
You know what the funny thing was in my head? I was thinking it too, and I was like, "Don't do it! Don't do it! Don't do it!" I was trying so hard not to do it, and you just ruined it. So are we ready to bring on our special guest for today? Oh, we forgot to tell people we had a special guest.
Do we have a special guest?
We have a special guest.
What?
Yeah, she's both a lot smarter than us and a lot prettier than us, and she knows about science and stuff.
Speak for yourself. I'm so pretty. I'm so pretty. What did Muhammad say?
I don't know. What did he say?
I'll find it.
Okay.
Who is our guest?
Our guest is young Sabriya Stukes, and we're gonna bring on right now.
You see him?
Hopefully, we're gonna invite her now. We'll see. We've never invited someone mid-show, so this is a first for us.
Hold on first. Should I give him some interlude music?
If you want to.
I was gonna go with the Hillary Show.
Okay, please don't. Okay, I'm inviting her in now.
Boom, 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 boom. This is the Hillary Show. For all those people out there who did not watch the Fresh Prince growing up, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, they should all. I mean, if they're fans of us, they should know about Fresh Prince and the Hillary Show. So the invite was posted. Now we just play the waiting game.
What are we going to talk about with Sabriya?
We're going to talk a little bit about the Zika phenomenon. Oh, there she is. Hello, Sabriya.
What up?
Oh my gosh, what an honor. Hey, Sabriya.
Wait, hi. Also, Kevin, do you know I have your hat?
Hey,
Yes, I
Sabriya,
know
we're on the air. Yo.
Yeah, keep it professional,
Oh,
dude.
okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's just a Snapchat.
Rewind.
We got all those.
What's going on, guys?
Not much. Are you drinking wine? Okay, this is like
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
What is your official title?
My besides boss ass bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
My official title is what do you mean? Like I have a PhD in biomedical science.
Thank you very
There
much.
we go.
We wanted
But
to.
technically, I am a doctor of philosophy.
So, Dr. Sabriya.
Yeah, I did my thesis research on infectious diseases and host pathogen interactions.
Is Zika an infectious disease?
Well, it's actually, I'm not 100% sure like what the. Yes, I mean it's a virus.
Okay, that's good, but bad.
Yeah, so yeah. I mean, it's funny because I think
It's
when
good
things
that-
like this happen, I'm both I'm both like morbidly fascinated by them, but also I know that it's not good, but I'm super curious about like how it works and how it gets transmitted and like what happens to the body. So I think that it's I think all infectious diseases are bad. I think that there's lots of things that you can learn from them.
Dude, the educational level on this podcast has just gone up exponentially.
Yeah. This is the first time we've actually had someone smart on here. Like,
We can only go up from here.
yeah, just to catch you up, we're talking about how some of the U.S. basketball players are dropping out of the Olympics, some due to the Zika scare.
Well, it's not just it's not just athletes, right? It's also I just read that some reporters are also not going. I think one of them just got pregnant or just found out she was pregnant and didn't want to go. I mean, these are all just obviously precautionary activities, but I mean, truthfully, I actually don't know that much about Zika. I have a million tabs open on my browsers to like read up on them, and like I have papers that I want to read, but I just haven't had the time to do it.
With your
But I think it's really fascinating.
with your extensive but kind of limited.
I mean, I was.
Briya, we asked the question.
Yeah, what up? Sorry, you're breaking up.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, whoa.
That's gonna happen a lot.
Go ahead.
We're low budget till we get some more money. With your extensive yet / limited insight on this, do you think it's interesting that we are still having the Olympics in Brazil with this still going on?
Well, what are you going to do? I mean, right, because even outside of my limited knowledge about the Zika virus,
Yep.
the Olympics are about money, so they're not going to cancel the Olympics.
Yeah.
True.
And I mean, I know that there's a lot of drama going on just like politically about even having the Olympics there, and how the money that's being used to build all these stadiums and just like how the infrastructure isn't really like there for it. And I think, I don't know, like I can't actually remember this, but didn't like the Brazilian president or something just get impeached or something like that?
She was impeached like 2 weeks ago.
Right, and apparently it was like a coup or something like that. Anyway, it's just, I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's always about money. So do I think they're going to cancel the Olympics? Of course not. I mean, I think it's people's choice whether they want to go or not. Like I said, I don't actually know what like the graph of like how many people are infected in Brazil what that even looks like.
True. I find it interesting that we're going to all go to Brazil from our respective countries and nations and territories, and then the Olympics are going to be over, and then we're all going to go back. So
and then everyone's going to go back?
Yeah. So
yeah,
we're all going to be like, hey, we all got it. Now let's take it back to our respective countries so it can spread quicker.
I mean, and that's like, it's like, not to again nerd out on you guys, but a few weeks ago I went to this, it wasn't like a seminar, I don't know, it's just like this thing about how like real science is in the movies, and one of the examples they showed was Outbreak, which actually happens to be like one of my favorite movies, but how like how unrealistic it was for, like if you remember that scene, there's, who was it, like, where he's like, in 24 hours, like, and it's like the dots start showing on the map of America, and then in like 48 hours, apparently, like, everyone is infected.
Mm-hmm. Unrealistic is what you're saying?
And, well, yeah, because, like, first of all, that means that there's it's something like 100% infectivity rate, meaning like everyone who gets it ends up getting sick, which isn't usually how that works. Also, there's no way something would spread that quickly.
But Dustin Hoffman said it would.
Exactly. When has Rain Man ever lied to us?
Yeah.
The man can count numbers and identify infectious diseases.
And viral infections, yeah.
Viral infections. Nice. Love it.
Yeah, no, so I think it'll be interesting. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't really know like too much about Zika. I know it's transmitted by mosquitoes. But
don't be pregnant and have it.
I don't know. I mean, if I were pregnant, I would probably not go to Brazil.
Damn, that's crazy.
Because I mean, like, here's the other thing too. Well, but here's the other thing too. You have to think about, like, not every mosquito carries Zika. It's like, what is the probability of you getting bitten by a mosquito that has it, and then also then getting infected? I mean, I don't know what those statistics really look like.
Should we just make them up? Scare the hell out of people?
Yeah, I don't think that's actually what the CDC wants. I don't think that's what the CDC wants you to do.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's an 89.9% chance you will die.
Oh man. Well, Sabriya, how many podcasts have you been on?
Well, this was the first one that I've been invited to. I actually used to have my own podcast about science stuff a while ago.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that. Wow,
It was called the Petri Dish Podcast.
Okay, look, we're on PandaWatch now. We don't need you to like start advertising.
Yeah, we're not promoting other podcasts here.
You guys probably have done more actual episodes, so like, good on you for being consistent. But like, we were 3 grad students. We did about 8 or 9 episodes, and then we were just like, oh right, we're grad students, and we got to hurry up and graduate.
We got to read books and all that stuff. All right, that's fair. Steve and I are just 2 idiots from Northern Virginia, and you got shit going on, so it works out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm super honored to be on your podcast, though.
Thank you. I was waiting for that one.
Yeah, seriously. It took you like 10 minutes to say that.
All right, well, Stephen, I think it's time for the story. The story that is taking America by storm.
Yeah, as smart as Sabriya is, we didn't want her insight. Well, we wanted it, but the point wasn't to get her insight on the Zika virus. As many of you are well aware, if anyone's been online the past few days,
Steve's cousin.
I'm sorry?
Steve's cousin.
My cousin?
This is your cousin, right?
Yeah, okay. This is what...
I wouldn't even say like online. If you were just in this world, you probably have heard this.
Right, exactly. So, a very affluent, prominent former swimmer, Brock Turner from the University of Stanford, was sentenced to his rape conviction. He was convicted in March of rape and other felony sexual assault charges. And the sentencing came out a few days ago, and to say the least, the judge was very lenient. He came out,
yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So the prosecution asked for 6 years. The judge came out and sentenced him to 6 months, and in his statement he said he really thinks that jail time would affect the boy poorly. Like, no shit, jail time would affect him poorly. He tried to rape somebody. But anyways, that just sparked a whole outrage of, holy shit, I can't believe this kid only got 6 months for sexually assaulting and raping someone while he just gets off with nothing.
I mean, he had to be pulled off the young lady, by the way, who was unconscious.
Right. Yeah, two men on bicycles thankfully rode by and intervened and stopped it from getting what would have been much worse than what happened. Then all the outrage, partly because it was a high publicity case, partly because the victim was so eloquent and had a 12-page written statement that she read in open court in front of everyone that just like it's tough to read what she wrote because it was so I'm losing my words for it. Heartbreaking, pretty much, is what it is.
That's a good one. I like that one.
And he gets off after all that. The judge says 6 months because prison wouldn't do the boy good. Like, seriously? Like,
And he also didn't think he would be a danger to others, which is like really weird,
yeah,
offensive to that young lady. It's kind of like, well, what about the girl he just raped? Like,
yeah.
what do you think she cares that he might be a danger to her or anybody else?
So we have that.
I think.
Before we get in the entire input, we have that. Then we have the convicted rapist father come on and say, "Oh, my son, he's despondent. He's not the same. He can't eat his favorite pretzels and chips anymore. Like I used to have to hide all these pretzels and chips in the house, but now I don't have to because he doesn't eat them. So I guess good for me. I got my snacks back again, but bad for my son because he's despondent."
Because he's so sad.
Yeah, he's so sad for 20 minutes of action. 20 minutes of action. Like, does this dude realize that like people have died in much less time of action?
Yes,
Like,
and in action, yes, there was an act being, there was an act, and it was called rape. There was no action involved. It was like the young lady was unconscious.
right. She was unconscious. It's not like she said, "Give it to me," took it, and then was like, "Oh, that was rape." No, she was unconscious. And then after all that, then people blew up again about the father jumping in. Then after that, he has a childhood friend, a female, I can presume, by the name Leslie, although there are guys named Leslie, so I could be wrong.
R.I.P. Leslie Nielsen.
Right. So his childhood friend comes on and tries to say that he was only convicted because of political correctness. Like, I mean, I'm losing my mind here. Like, how many people are in this kid's life where they just said, "Oh no, it's okay, you didn't do anything wrong." Like,
Poor white Brock. We got you, man. We ain't gonna let this system pull you down, white Brock.
yeah, right.
We got you.
Oh man, the kid has to do 6 months for rape. Like, I think he got off pretty easy, unless I'm confusing something. But anyways, having said all that, I mean, Sabriya, thoughts? I mean, what goes through your mind as you hear all this and like see all this unfold?
Yeah, it's. I mean, gosh, how long are these podcasts? I don't know, or like how much time do I have here? What I would say, what I would say initially is that it's overwhelming. It's frustrating. It's sad. It's angry. I mean, I almost don't want to do like the Kanye shrug, right? Because this is something that happens all the time. And I'm not even talking about like, what I'm talking about when I say all the time is I'm talking about men who feel like they have the privilege or the right to do whatever they want, to say whatever they want, to act a certain way to women. I don't know, I mean, I can't count the amount of times I've felt unsafe or just annoyed or just like being a woman in this world, like identifying as a woman in this world. I mean, I feel like I can I mean, have you guys ever felt unsafe going out drinking with your friends? Have you ever felt like, if I drink too much, I'm not sure if I'm going to get home okay? Or if I drink too much and I walk home by myself, I don't know what's going to happen to me. Do you ever think I need to carry my keys in a certain way before I get to my door? Do you think I can't put headphones on while I'm walking to my apartment? Do you think I need to cross the street because I see two dudes walking and it's kind of dark? Do you think I need to think about what I'm wearing when I go out? Do you think I need to text my friends the minute I get home to make so that they know that I'm okay? I mean, these are constant thoughts that go through, at least, I mean, I don't want to make these blanket statements for all women, but I will say, at least for me, for my friends, when we walk out of our door, and not just at like 10 p.m., at like 8 a.m. when I go to work, I mean, it's kind of, I don't know what, like, it's overwhelming. Like, and I don't know if I have conveyed that in just this like slew of like thoughts that I just kind of gave out.
I mean, what you just gave out was just about 10 more thoughts that Steven and I have when we go out. I mean,
yeah, I mean, even though I did live in Adams Morgan, I never like felt that unsafe. So like, yeah, you're.
Well, sure, but I think that like you don't think like these things could happen to you.
Oh no, you're exactly right. I was agreeing with you. I was saying that like, no matter, you're right, because no matter what the situation, like Kevin and I are 6-foot-tall dudes, whereas a lot of our female friends are just in a vulnerable position, no matter where they are, what time of day.
Right.
It's
And
it's a scary
think
thing.
that it is, and I think that because I don't know if I want to say this is the way that I've been conditioned because of all the things that have been said to me, all the things that have been done to me, that not that I can't still go out and have a good time with my friends. I think, unfortunately, what ends up happening here is the narrative is always like, well, she shouldn't have got so drunk. She shouldn't have worn this. She should have stayed with her friends. Instead of like, okay, maybe like this dude just shouldn't have raped her.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm a big fan of that one.
Right, and I think that it is heartbreaking in that if you talk to a lot of women, or at least, again, I don't want to make these kind of blanket statements, but I could probably talk to any one of my friends and they all have stories about how men have said derogatory things to them in passing, how if you don't say thank you when a random person just comes up to you and says, oh, you look beautiful, or you should smile more, the very next thing is, well, fuck you, or, some other sort of kind of derogatory statement because you aren't appreciative of their compliments to you. And I feel like there is a certain privilege that men, like I said earlier, like men feel like they have to just do this. And I think that it's very clear to me, at least in reading his statement where, he's just like, well, I was just really drunk. I wouldn't have done this if I was so drunk. It's like, well, you just shouldn't have done it, first of all. And the fact that, if I'm remembering the way that the testimony went, I mean, he ran away. Like, he knew he was doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
he ran away from the bikers. Yeah.
Right, and then to kind of flip the script and be like, well, she rubbed my back, therefore that meant all signals go.
What?
Like, I think that there's many ways in which the narrative gets twisted, and it just, I don't know. I mean.
Hey man.
Yeah.
I think that what we're also seeing being played out is this hierarchy of male privilege, of, in this case, white privilege, and this lack of self-awareness on so many different levels, right? Like from the son, then to the father, and then to the judge.
Yep.
Right. And that's another question I wanted to ask you two is, a lot of the times when you see these stories about a man, committing rape, you get like a mugshot and you get a story about him and like the crime he committed, whereas with Brock Turner, you got like his yearbook smiling photo and like, oh, what a life he could have
look
had.
happy as shit.
Yeah, like what a life he could have
but
had and stuff like that. Like, does that further distort not distort, further
Well,
relay the
it
message.
just plays into this narrative, right?
Yeah,
It plays
exactly.
into this narrative that this was his, and for all we know, we actually don't know that this is his first, like, sexual assault.
Amen to
We
that,
really
sister.
don't.
Very good point.
I think that when fathers say things like, or when mothers say things like, "Not my son," like, how do you really know? How do you know?
They don't.
I mean, this is the first time. I mean, this could have been just the first time he got caught, right? So I think to Kevin, what you had said earlier about how the judge was like, "Oh, the judge just saying, I don't think that he would be a problem to society." Like, how can you say that with such certainty? How do you know?
Unless you are falling into that narrative of, well, and he's kind of like me, so I wouldn't be a problem to somebody else. Like, you're giving him a pass
Right.
just because you feel some kind of familiarity or some kind of comfort in knowing that you guys have some kind of symbiotic or some kind of connection where it's
Right.
like, let me get
Yeah.
him out of here, let me save him.
And I mean, I actually only read the letter that the woman wrote this morning. And, there were so many parts of it that spoke to me, as a woman, as someone who's had to deal with unwanted sexual attention, as someone who's had, I remember my friend Nicole and I were hanging out at this wine bar. This was maybe I don't know, like a month or so ago. And, this guy was kind of groping her and hanging on her. And she was like, you know what, chill out. I don't really like this. And his friend was like, oh, well, that's just her opinion. That's actually not an opinion, right? That is, and I basically called him out. I was like, how can you say that that is her opinion? She said, I don't like this. Your friend needs to get the fuck away. And then his friend said to me, you're really aggressive, and if you just tone down your attitude, you would get more men to talk to you.
Yikes. Yo.
So this is a thing that happens. This is
Yeah, this is bugged out. That's what it is.
This is ways in which men.
Nobody said he's nice. He's just drunk right now.
Right. This is a way in which men justify their behavior, either through alcohol, either through saying oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about. And I just think that, unfortunately, when I said overwhelming in the beginning, it is overwhelming because this isn't a unique story of, something happening to a woman, something like a sexual assault happening to a woman. Everyone, I shouldn't say everyone, but the media narrative being well, she deserved it, she, shouldn't have gotten so drunk. And then, yes, obviously this other piece of this incredibly lenient sentence because a judge thinks that he is not going to do any harm, and only his life is the one that is going to be forever changed.
Yeah, I think that's. Sorry.
No, I was just saying. I think that when I read the letter, there were so many points in it where she was like, "Look, no one wins here. No one wins here. My life has changed, your life has changed, but own up to." To me, there's no accountability on his part.
Yep.
Right? He's just well, I was just really drunk.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been
People
really
get drunk
too.
all the time and still somehow manage not to go around raping women behind dumpsters.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been really drunk, and the worst that I've done is send a text that was questionable.
I thought you were gonna say pee the bed, dude. Damn it!
That's you right there.
Yeah, all right. That's a story for another time.
That's Roscoe peeing the bed. But anyways,
and so here's the thing, right? I think it's great that you guys want to talk about this. I think it's great that you have questions about it, and that you're like, oh, Sabriya, you're a woman, how do you feel about it? But I think at the end of the day, it still always seems like women have to be the ones to educate men on how to behave. It's still
the
hey,
ones
guys,
who don't behave the right way.
Right. It's hey, maybe just don't rape women. Or and the bigger thing is consent is not really that hard to that as a concept is really not that hard to understand.
Yes, completely agree. What about like just respecting the other human being? Like, I wouldn't want
Well,
somebody
right.
to violate me. Like, I
Right,
wouldn't.
exactly. Exactly. And I think we do talk about this in these kind of like, it's like a man and a woman, but this happens, all like across all genders, across all ways in which people identify with whatever gender they identify or don't identify with.
Correct.
And so I think it's just about a basic level of respect. And I think she even says that in her letter about human decency.
Right.
And I think that, again, what happened here was he got caught and then tried to spin this narrative of, well, she was super drunk, I was really drunk. I think that there was some conversation about how he had said he had never intended to, like, take her home anyway. And I think really, like, maybe one of the other kind of disheartening things that she said and also realized was that, she had, in the letter she says she hadn't even planned on going out. But she realized that even if it wasn't her, it was going to be someone else.
Right, exactly. Like, just because she got too drunk doesn't, like, I don't get that whole, like, she touched my back thing. Like,
Well, right. I mean, but it doesn't matter. Like,
yeah,
because when men, or I shouldn't say men, but when people do this, they try to pick up on anything to justify their actions.
As opposed to just, I mean, like you said, and the reports is saying he hasn't even been accounted or been accountable.
Well, I don't think he even admitted. I don't even think he.
No.
I mean, I think he said that he. I think he maybe said he I actually don't even know what he said other than alcohol made me do it.
Yeah, I think he's on record saying in his deposition I was drunk. He didn't say I forced myself on her. He just said I was drunk and I wouldn't do that if I was sober. He doesn't say I did do it. He just says I wouldn't have done it if I was drunk.
And I think the other thing too is when you look at kinds of the other kinds of sentences that people receive for far less serious infractions, or even I think and I haven't I might be misquoting this, but there was I think an article floating around where there was an African American man who I think also was charged with raping someone, but he didn't do it, and he was in jail for I don't know how long, but he actually went to jail for many years.
Yeah, his sentence was 15 to 25 was what they requested, and he was in jail for about 12 of those years.
Right. I mean, I think that the other thing too that seems sketchy, I don't know if sketchy is the right word, but maybe disheartening, is that he was convicted. A jury found him guilty.
Yeah.
Right, and to me that's the worst part, because about 3% of rapists actually get convicted and serve time. So you're saying of those 3%, now we have to worry about a judge saying, "Hey, you don't seem like too bad of a guy. Here's 6 months."
Right, and the scary thing is they could do that with anyone or with any,
They just pick and choose.
Right.
But I want to get back to
so I think
Go ahead, Sabriya.
No, I was going to say, just for me, the thing that I kind of think about really with this, or many things, but is really this kind of it's not just Brock. It's his dad. It's the judge.
Yeah.
It's this systemic issue of white privilege and male privilege. And I think that, so actually just recently I was reading a paper by this woman named Peggy McClintock who did a lot of work on privilege. And basically she was saying, people, I think everyone on some level has certain amounts of privilege. But the point is, when you actually then realize you have that privilege, then you acknowledge that you are born with certain sets of tools that basically move you forward versus other people. And once you realize that, then what do you do?
Then
how do you then kind of wrestle with oh, right, so let's say if you look at Stephen and Kevin, right, you two are both males or identify as males, but Stephen, you probably have a little bit more privilege because you are a white male versus Kevin.
Yeah, just a little though, not too much. I mean, I don't want Kevin thinking that like I get things easier than he
But
does.
But I
but
mean,
there are
motherfucker,
there are certain.
I know.
I mean, it's a tough life being, I'm a half
Being white,
Jew, so
being a half Jew. I hear you.
So to me, it's not just like, because in a perfect system, right? Like, well, in a perfect world, like he wouldn't have raped this woman,
Yes.
but it would have been, he got convicted, he would have gone to jail, because that is what happens. Like, that is what we set up our system to do.
We agreed upon that. Like, if you rape somebody, we convict you. Boom, here go your time.
And the thing is, right? Like, I actually read somewhere too where the father was like, "Oh, my words were misconstrued or like taken out of context." And
Bullshit.
it's like, how you wrote them in a letter.
You wrote them in a letter. You mailed it to everybody before it got picked up by the news circulations. And like, that's the funny thing for me. Like, the judge and the dad. The dad is bringing up shit that makes it sound like his son is the victim. Like, your son raped a young lady, and now your son's despondent. He can't eat his favorite steaks. He can't eat his favorite goldfish. Like, this young lady is going to have to deal with being raped for the rest of her life. And who knows what kind of, post-traumatic syndrome she's going to stress and all that stuff that she can go through.
right. I mean, she's
Briya, who is that?
yeah.
Sorry, it's my friend Nicole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought you had a PR. You have a PR coach over there. What's going on? Like, you gotta.
No, Nicole was commenting too, though, that it's what is also fucked up is the judge. Like, here's the thing. Like, everyone knows he raped her.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
everyone knows that, he took her behind a dumpster while she was unconscious, took her underwear off, penetrated her with either fingers or some foreign object.
Yikes.
And yet somehow the judge and the father and the kid are still like, well, and this is this perpetuates this kind of rape culture that puts the onus on women to make sure, like, it puts the onus on women to make sure that we don't get raped when we go out.
You don't make, which is
Right.
bullshit.
There's someone posted up like a pie chart that said like the cause of rape, and it was like
rapist.
it was like too much alcohol, too short a dress, flirting, promiscuous, and then it said rapist, and then that was the entire pie chart. Because like that's what it is. It's none of the other stuff.
I mean,
I go out
anyone who
every
uses
weekend in a city filled with young, very attractive women, and in no way am I ever tempted to rape any of them because of the way they dress or because of the way they act.
Well, right, and that's the narrative, right? I mean, it's people who say, oh, she was asking for it because she was too drunk. She wore the short skirt because she came on to me. It's like, no, nobody asked to be violated in this way, right? I mean, I cannot even imagine, like, there have been many times, yes, when I was in college or, when I was first moving to the city where, I would go out with my friends and I would wake up the next day in my bed and be like, oh, thank God I'm in my bed. Also, like, what happened? And, I would talk to my friends and, we would laugh and, oh my God, we were so drunk. But I mean, at any one of those times, like, something seriously wrong could have happened to me. Now, actually, when I was in college, I remember once I was sleeping in my room. We had like a party at our apartment. And I remember sleeping in my room, and I remember like just kind of, it was really late at night, but I remember getting this like kind of overwhelmingly like creepy feeling that like someone was watching me. And so I just woke up, and there was a dude sitting on my bed.
Yikes.
Just sitting on my bed, like staring at me. And I remember it so clearly because he had on this like black leather jacket that he like kind of slowly took off. And I turned my light on because I had like a lamp on my nightstand. I turned my light on really quickly, and I didn't know what to do. I just didn't know what to do. It was like I could have screamed, but it was like caught in my throat. And so in my mind, I was like, okay. I was like, hey, what's up? And he was like, oh, I was just in your apartment. I saw that your light was on, which it wasn't because I just turned my light on. And he was like, I just thought I would come in here and see how you were doing. And I mean, like,
when you came to, did you know the person?
No, I had no idea who this guy was.
Holy shit.
Wow.
I mean, basically, I was like, "Who are you?" And he was like, "Oh," I was here earlier. I was at your party." He was like, "You told me to come back later," and I was like, "Yeah, that's first of all something I would never say to you." I was like, "I don't even know you." And like, really long story short, I was somehow able to kind of like talk him out of my room and like walk him out of the apartment. And then I went back to bed. And the next morning I woke up and I told my roommates about it. And I was like, guys, we need to like make sure our doors are always locked. And my roommate said to me, she's like, why didn't you scream? Why didn't you like run to our room or something? And I was like, one, I was like, I felt incredibly paralyzed. Like I couldn't do anything. And two, I didn't know what this guy was going to do to me if I like made sudden movements or anything like that. I mean, how old was I? Like 19 or so? 19 or 20?
Jeez.
And I mean, and that's just like one instance. And like not for that, I saw him like 2 weeks later dancing at like one of the, clubs or bars or whatever in downtown Blacksburg with a girl. And I was like, I walked up to him and he had no idea who I was.
Jeez.
And so it's like, these are things, that either almost happen, they do happen. I mean, like, every woman in my friend circle that I have has a story like this. Maybe that doesn't end maybe one that doesn't end in the way that this Stanford story did. But this stuff happens because, like I said, men just feel like they have a privilege, that they can do whatever the fuck they want when they're drunk, and that somehow we want this, and that they don't have to take accountability for their actions.
Which is bullshit. And as one half of PandaWatch, let me just say we don't condone any of that. We are accountable for all of our actions, and we don't play that bullshit.
Well, but here's the thing: it's like,
thanks for the words, Kevin.
Yeah, I got you.
And I mean, like, I don't know how much longer you guys have on this podcast, but I mean, it's like I said, it's more that like we shouldn't have to be the ones educating people on how to treat other people with a small amount of human decency.
Okay, so my question, and I agree with you. And what kind of steps do you think, I mean, besides educating males and humans to be nice, like what are the steps that males around the country and the world could like learn from? Like how do we be proactive in this?
Well, I think right, and I can understand these are probably difficult conversations to have with friends or, like whatever, but it's like, I mean, when people are like high-fiving your friends, you're like, oh, look at that chick in her skirt, or like, I mean, like there are people that like use date rape drugs. There are people that know people who use this and don't say anything. There are, these kind of like snide comments that are made between friends that are like, oh, we're just joking, or it's just funny, or like when people, I mean, like, yes, when I tell that story about the guy in my room, like I tell it now and it's like, oh my God, how crazy, how funny. But it's like, like I could have gone up to that guy and said to him like, yo, dude, you were fucking in my room and it's crazy and it's weird and now you're dancing with a woman and like I think she should leave. And I mean, I think that there are small ways in which we all can be proactive. It takes just like a little bravery and also at the same time like a little vulnerability. And I feel like sometimes people aren't willing or don't know how to take those steps. Because right, like I mean, like look at the world we live in.
You're absolutely right, because sometimes, in hindsight we can think that we should have done the right thing, but in the moment when you see something happening, sometimes you're so unused to the scenario that you have no idea how to react. And
right, but I think that go ahead, Kevin.
It could be just like, I mean, in that situation when you brought up bravery or courage and vulnerability, it's kind of human nature to like self-preserve. So it's kind of like, yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So it's kind of like that is wrong thing to do, but then it's kind of like, well, this shit might kind of infringe on me, which is kind of
right. Well, because here's the thing. Like I can, any woman walking down the street in New York, when a dude says something to her, if I had to say every time, like, hey, you know what, that's actually not really nice, like, I don't want you talking to me, you know, like, please, this is my personal, like, if I had to do that, if any, you know, person walking down the street had to do that, first of all, that would take forever. Secondly, who knows what that other person could do to me?
Yeah.
Right. It's the same thing of confronting a crazy person on the subway. Like, you should tell them to shut the fuck up and stop bothering people, but at the same time,
Here comes that 2x4 out of their pocket.
right.
Right. And so, I mean, it's like I said, it's such a systemic problem. So it could start with your friends, right? Like, it could start with, like, if you see one of your, you know, friends, like, kind of saying derogatory things to women or about women or, like, laughing about it, just be like, you know what, I'm not going to engage in that, and maybe also tell them, like, not cool. And it doesn't have to be, like, this big production. But then you think about it on, like, a more, you know, global level, when you see things on TV, or when you see the way that women are treated, or when you see the way that how women are portrayed. And it's like, yes, I know we have to start somewhere. But that's actually what I mean when I say it's overwhelming. And that's why when I was reading about this, it's like, there was actually a Law and Order episode about this, like, I don't know how long ago, but in this similar vein of a woman was raped, and she, like, I guess had this, like, was doing porn videos on the side or something like that. And because she was doing that, though, you know, the judge was like, how are these two boys to know that you really didn't want it? You know, like, look at your lifestyle, look at how you portray yourself. And so even though these boys got convicted, the judge, you know, overturned the ruling. Actually, that's, like, the thing I thought about when I read about this. I was like, this sounds just like that Law and Order episode that happened many, many months ago.
Gosh damn SVU, man, those motherfuckers.
At the same time, they've had like 20 some odd seasons, so at some point we run into like a scenario where it's
Right,
like,
but this is the thing, right? This is not a new narrative. This is not a new narrative.
No.
And I think that, yes, it's, again, in the public eye, and my thing with these things is always like, okay, yes, these things need to be amplified. Yes, these stories need to be heard. But then what are the actions now that are going to be taken so that this doesn't happen again? Or that when, you know, if and when it does happen, rapists actually get convicted.
Yeah.
right, you can only hope that judge in California, I think, is up, I don't know when, but is up for re-election. His position is electable. So what you can hope from all of this.
I saw that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know if that's actually going to happen, if you can, like, vote him out, or, I mean, I saw there was, like, a change.org petition about it.
There's no, I mean, again, I would like to say there's no way that he can survive this, but we've clearly seen crazier fucking shit happen.
Sure. And I mean, I think that it's just, in general, it also comes down to having serious and uncomfortable conversations about how women are viewed, or how people who identify as women are viewed, to, like, the male gaze. And
Yeah.
and again, I know that I don't mean to be so reductive in just saying, like, a man and a woman, because, like, this happens across all genders. But, you know, just in relation to this story.
Yeah, you don't have to sugarcoat it. It happens with men towards women. It doesn't really happen so much the other ways. But
Chill, man. You see what's going on in Texas? They're going crazy with the young boys.
Yeah.
Yo, sexual predator.
But I think, and I mean, I think also, you know, the one thing that sometimes we tend to overlook is when this stuff happens, when you see kind of how everyone, like, vilifies the victim, the message that then sends is, hey, victims, like, your voices don't mean shit. So there's no point in you ever, you know, coming forward, right? I mean, like, one of the things that was very heartbreaking about this letter was that, you know, how she really recounted all the questions that they asked her, and then when she couldn't remember, she's like, well, because you know you were unconscious, the only person that we should really be believing is Brock. So he can spin whatever narrative he wants.
Yeah, but he was,
so it's like,
because he was conscious, but yet he was conscious, but he wasn't conscious enough to, like, not be drunk. So it's kind of like, which one is it, Brock? Like, were you drunk, or were you, like,
right.
so sober, but you were, like, not really sober? Like,
Sure, and I mean, I think the piece where she goes to go to the bathroom and she realizes she doesn't have any underwear on, and I mean that's devastating.
Right.
To just
And
have that even notion that someone violated you in such a way that kind of changes who you are. I mean, I shouldn't say changes who you are.
I mean, it's an event that could shape your life. I mean, obviously
Sure.
It's going to shape hers, but
And I think back to your earlier point about how this could possibly discourage other victims to not come forward. To me, that is the most disheartening part of it, that other justice wouldn't be served because women could see this, or any victim can see this, men or women, and say, well, what's the point? Like, why drag through all this if, even if I do get the small chance of convicting him or her, that nothing's going to happen. Like 6 months is nothing compared to what she now has to go through.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a lot longer than 6 months.
And I mean, like I said, and look, who knows what? I mean, I don't know. It's just there's so many pieces to it, but they're pieces of a story that has been told before.
Yeah.
And there are ways in which this happened, and I shouldn't say this happens. There's ways in which when media talks about it, this is how they talk about it. And I don't want to say oh well, in 6 months from now there might be another story, or there. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to seem so not optimistic about it, but
No,
I am a woman of this world.
Yes. It's definitely easier for you to see that there may not be an end to this cycle. But with anything, like any good change or big change, it's got to happen one instance at a time, one action at a time. So, hopefully this is a story that gets the ball moving the opposite way. But again, we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah, it's hard to be optimistic, but
But here at PandaWatch, that's what we like to do.
Agreed. So, I mean, I really enjoyed that discussion.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should start winding it down. I mean, that was a really good one, and that one that we haven't really had on PandaWatch before. I say.
Well, thanks for asking me to do it. I mean, every time I try to get on your podcast, I really just want to talk about fries, but I think this was probably a more important topic.
Yeah, I mean, we can trans.
Why are we talking about French fries?
Yeah, you can be our first.
First of all, I just want to say, I feel like I'm a connoisseur of French fries.
Okay.
All right, dude.
So...
Don't get her started.
All right.
Sabriya, if you want, you can be the first two-time guest on PandaWatch.
And we will not be talking about fucking French fries. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Fine.
You smell like French fries.
Yeah.
Can we wait? Question, idea. Kevin, next time you come up, why can't we just do a roundtable video recording of the podcast?
I'm always down for that. Steven's usually too hungover to do something.
Oh, come on, please. Who was crying on Monday? I need food. I need food.
Hey man, that was weeks ago, motherfucker.
Anyways,
right.
Yes, that is a very good idea, Sabriya, and you're definitely worthy of a invite back.
Of a repeat. Yay!
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Well done, Sabriya.
Yes, and
right.
Do you want to
I don't know, how do you guys do your sign off? I don't know.
That's pretty awesome.
you know how you would know, Sabriya? If you listen to a damn episode.
Yeah. That would be great.
True.
Truth.
You guys never invite me onto the podcast that I never listened to.
A podcast that I never listened to, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we do usually end with this. The musical suggestion is going to be Pusha T featuring Jay-Z. Drug Dealers Anonymous. The message is simple. They are ex-drug dealers telling you amazing stories over some very dark production. You're welcome, Panda people. Steven, take us home, man.
All right. You guys know how to find us. You guys know how to reach us. As always, email any comment suggestions to thepandawatchpodcast@gmail.com. You can always leave comments and posts on our Facebook page. Kevin keeps saying he's going to do Twitter, but
I'm gonna do it. I swear.
yeah. And until then, keep listening, keep commenting, keep spreading the word. Hopefully, after this episode, we'll have 3 more people listening. So, until next time, peace, love, and
Chancletas. That's how we get down.